The mission of the organization, first and foremost, is to prevent cruelty. The second part of the mission of the organization is also to prevent homelessness and neglect, and to do everything we can to provide a safe and healthy environment for animals. That's been the mission of the organization since the 1870s. We are a no-kill shelter, and what that means is, the animals will come in, they'll be treated, they'll stay here for a certain period of time, dogs and cats, and then they'll be adopted out or they'll be transferred to another organization. Now that puts pressure on shelters like Delaware SPCA. It means that many of our animals will stay with us for a year, 2 years. So you have the cost of care and feeding over an extended period of time. The staff and the volunteers really are the heart and soul of the organization. These people are incredibly committed. They love animals. I'm inspired by the work that they do every day in very difficult circumstances.
A lot of our volunteers, they come in every day, they're dedicated to the animals, they exercise them, they train them, they take them out to events, trying to get them adopted. And the one that you think, oh, that dog's never going to get adopted, is always the one that gets adopted, and you're like, what?
It's been incredibly rewarding to me as a volunteer. It's all about the animals, that's why we are all here. But it really does speak well to the overall quality of life for humans and animals in the state of Delaware.
They come in as a stray, and we hold them for 5 days on a stray hold. Their picture goes up on our website for people to be able to contact her if they notice that Lucy is their pet. And since no one has contacted us about Lucy, Lucy will now be made available and up for adoption.
When we come in, we just take each cat out, try to get to know its personality, so that when somebody comes in and is looking, we can say whether somebody's going to be playful, whether they're good with other cats, whether they'd rather be the only cat in the house.
We were the first organization in the state to open up a high-quality, low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic to really get at the homelessness, the neglect, the cruelty problem at the beginning of the pipeline, so to speak. We will probably do in the neighborhood of 10,000 spay-neuter procedures between our 2 shelters over the course of the year.
What sets us apart is, I think, the quality and the volume. I've always been very comfortable doing surgery. It's always been my strong point. And the fact that I can hopefully help reduce the amount of overpopulation in shelters and unwanted animals, period, is enough for me to keep doing this. In 2009, we opened our clinic, and that was in the fall, and we've done well over 15,000 spays and neuters since then. And I think we've already made a huge dent in the pet population in the state of Delaware. You can tell when you look around our shelter that there are already less animals that are coming in, and I think it's a direct result of what we do.
We've really moved into what I would call the animal welfare movement of the 21st century. The government of both the county, city, and state are starting to see that this is really advantageous to the population and the citizens, as well as to the animals. So it's a win-win situation.
We are mandated or authorized by the state as a cruelty agency, enforcement agency. So we have 2 humane law enforcement officers, one stationed here in Newcastle County and one in Sussex County. And we ask the public to call us if they see a situation that looks suspicious, and that could be something as simple as dogs are tied to a tree and doesn't look like they have food or water. We'll send our investigators out and investigate.
Chip is my latest cruelty case. I pulled him from back behind an abandoned trailer. The people had moved out and just left him behind. He was starving. He came in at 27 pounds, which is probably about 15 pounds underweight for whatever type of dog he may be. It was, pouring rain. I had the state police out there with me. We went back there, got him out of where he was living and brought him back to the SPCA. I've had to go back and find out who was living at the house. They have warrants out for their arrest. They'll be arrested for the condition that he was left in and not making any accommodations for his care. He's a very, very nice dog. One of the nicest dogs I've come across here at the shelter. So just because it's a cruelty case doesn't necessarily mean that they're an unadoptable animal by any means.
You hear all the time about how someone will come in and take an animal, maybe who was abused, and the bond that forms, it's a mutual give and take, and the family ends up benefiting as much as the animal does.
He was found at the front steps of the SPCA in quite bad condition, and me being quite the dog person I am, I saw him, immediately fell in love with him, and I wanted the opportunity to try to be him part of our family. So I went ahead and pursued adoption through the SPCA. You can see that they truly love their job and love the animals, and it truly comes out when you bring a guy like this home and he's so great with the kids and all the rest of the family. It depicts and how well of a run organization they are.
He's just been a great addition to our family, really has.
The money that we generate to support the organization and support our mission comes from adoption fees, comes from the fees that we collect through our spay-neutering clinics, the vaccination clinics that we run on a monthly basis, and through private donations. I'm amazed that people don't understand how important it is to a culture, to a society, to protect animals. I mean, these creatures are helpless, and that's the work that Delaware SPCA does for the community. And so if we could just get people to come into the shelter and interact with these animals, I think they'd see what we see, that they're loving animals that deserve a safe and happy home.